And welcome back. Well, you plan and save your whole life to have a happy, comfortable retirement. So you want to make sure that your family and your assets are protected in case the worst should happen.
So today we're focusing on estate planning and some of the common mistakes that people make. Joining us now is attorney Dan Krause with the Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. We're super excited.
Good to have you here.
Good morning.
It's great to be back. I love being here, Molly and Tiffany.
Yeah.
Thank you. We always learn a lot when you're here too, which is really is good for all of us, and then we can share it with you. Let's talk first about the most common mistakes that you see people making. Is there any one most common mistake that people make?
The most common mistake is putting it off.
Yeah.
The people, when I ask them, I bring people in every day and I talk to them and I say, why are you coming to me now? And almost every single one of them says, because we haven't done it in the last 10, 15, 20 years. So there's always an excuse not to do it. Like wait until the pumpkin spice latte comes out, and then I'll make the appointment or something like that. And
you were listening.
Something else down the road. I like pumpkin spice, by the way. I could deal with it all year round.
You're one of those odd yeses.
Yeah.
I haven't voted though, so I won't affect the outcome. But another thing that we see people doing is going to the wrong places to have this stuff done. Like the internet. Many people we see have done documents and they bring the documents in and they want me to look at them and they're not even signed. They say, oh yeah, we put this together, and then psychologically they flip the switch and they say that's done and they can move on, but it's not signed, it's not legal, it's not done. So making sure that you do it and you do it in the right manner, those are the really common mistakes that I see, the biggest ones. The other ones are sometimes towards the end of life, we get brought people's documents to say, what can we do? What can we do to save mom's assets from the nursing home, etc. And we take a look at the powers of attorney, and unfortunately, they're not powerful enough for us to do the things that we need to do in order to save the family's assets. There's certain things that need to be put in there in order for us to be able to get rid of towards the family the assets, so they don't go towards the state or towards the care.
There's things you've said on the show before that my mom and I still talk about, with her house and things like that as well. A lot of people wonder, though, at certain points in their lives, they may move, right? Or change their residency, whether it's, for warmer weather or taxes, whatever it is. But if they do that, if somebody moves, do they have to then change some of those documents, or do those documents cross state lines with them?
So, although Wisconsin is the best place to be, some people, they follow their children if their children move out and they get older. And it's true that anything that is legal in Wisconsin is legal in all 50 states. Now, in any other country, it may not be legal. It may not do the things that you want it to. But in fact, each state has their own laws. So what you've done in Wisconsin may be legal in every state, but it might affect your family differently because it's interpreted according to their laws at that point. So if you do move out of state and you've got a will, a trust, powers of attorney, you should take it and have it looked at in another state. They may have some advice for you about changing it or maybe doing it over, or just tell you, no, this looks good.
Okay.
Good to know.
I have a good question. Can people intentionally, or do you see documents where people intentionally leave someone out of a will?
Well, disinheriting. So in order for you not to give something to a person who would otherwise receive from you if you died without a will, it's called disinheriting. And you have to either just leave them out and say, these are the people who get it, and conspicuously leave their name off. But if you want to be very clear about it and sometimes give them a little poke in the eye after you're gone, and put their name down as somebody that should never ever be given anything.
Wow.
And that's called disinheriting. It is very effective, and you can disinherit anybody except for a minor child.
Okay.
And a spouse. A spouse can't be completely disinherited, but a spouse can be partially disinherited. But a minor child, you can't really disinherit them because you have an obligation to support them. But any child who's over the age of 18 or any other family member that you don't get along with, yes, you can leave them out intentionally.
on the children note, if you've got children, you make a will or you make all the documents, legal, and then you have more children, I assume you have to change it.
Well, not necessarily, and it depends on how the document is drafted. So we have different ways to do that. Older people that are not planning to have children, we put in the children's name and say, these are our children, and these are the definition of our children. So in case there's somebody that comes in later and says, that's my dad, right, they would be excluded just because their names are not part of the definition of children. For people who are younger, they might have language that says, Molly and Tiffany are children, and any other children that we may hereafter have, and then they're included. So even though their name is not in the document, they're equally included to the other children. So it depends on how you draft it.
We just ran out of time, but if you want to make changes down the road, is that something you can do, or no? Once it's done, no, 1, 2, 3, no changes?
Well, you can usually make changes to any estate planning documents as long as you have competence, meaning that you're mentally competent, or you're not dead, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Also, changes to documents are sometimes illegal if somebody has a figurative gun to your head. So if somebody is forcing you or coercing you or threatening you, then those documents can also be thrown out for being illegal.
And good to see
Interesting
you.
stuff. Yeah, thank you so much. We learn a lot when you're here. And right